Imagine standing on the shore of an ancient sea more than 240 million years ago. The world is quiet, almost peaceful. Then, something impossible begins to emerge from the water. At first, you notice only its head. Then its neck keeps rising and rising and rising, longer than its own body, longer than almost any reptile evolution had ever produced. For more than a century, scientists argued over what this animal truly was. A swimmer? A shoreline ambush hunter? Or one of evolution's strangest experiments? Even today, some of its greatest secrets remain unsolved. Nature rarely creates perfection. Instead, it creates possibilities. And sometimes, those possibilities look almost unbelievable. Tanystropheus was one of them. Tonight, we travel back to a forgotten coastline to uncover the truth behind the most mysterious reptiles that ever lived. This is the story of Tanystropheus. Long before the age of dinosaurs, before giant predators ruled the land, our planet came terrifyingly close to losing everything. Around 252 million years ago, life on Earth faced a catastrophe so immense that nearly 90% of all species vanished forever. Oceans became graveyards. Forests disappeared. Entire ecosystems collapsed into silence. It was not merely an extinction. It was a near end of complex life itself. Scientists now believe this apocalypse unfolded over hundreds of thousands of years. Massive volcanic eruptions in what is now Siberia released unimaginable amounts of carbon dioxide and toxic gases into the atmosphere. Temperatures soared. Rain turned acidic. Oxygen levels fell. Even the oceans themselves began to suffocate. Few worlds in Earth's history have ever been so hostile to life. And yet, life refused to surrender. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, survivors emerged from the silence. A handful of resilient plants rooted themselves in barren soil. Small reptiles ventured across empty landscapes. Insects returned to the air. The oceans, once nearly lifeless, began to pulse with fragile signs of recovery. Evolution had not given up. It was beginning again. This new world was unlike anything that had existed before. Vast deserts stretched across the supercontinent Pangaea. Shallow tropical seas shimmered beneath an unfamiliar sky. Strange reptiles, unlike any living today, began experimenting with extraordinary new ways of surviving. Every coastline became a laboratory of evolution. Every lagoon, a stage for nature's boldest ideas. Among the countless experiments of evolution, one would become unlike anything the world had ever seen. It did not possess enormous teeth or towering size. Its greatest weapon was something far stranger, a neck so impossibly long that even modern scientists struggle to understand why it existed at all. On these forgotten shores, the legend of Tanystropheus was about to begin. Nothing about Tanystropheus follows our expectations. Its body is surprisingly compact. Its legs are modest. Its tail is powerful, but not extraordinary. Then your eyes travel upward and the illusion begins. A neck stretching nearly 3 meters into the air. Elegant, fragile in appearance, yet engineered by evolution with astonishing precision. To many early scientists, this creature seemed so bizarre that some believe its fossils have been assembled incorrectly. Surely, no vertebrate could possess such an absurdly long neck. But the rocks told a different story. Again and again and again, every new discovery revealed the same astonishing design. Nature had truly created something unlike anything before or since. At first glance, the neck appears almost impossibly flexible. like that of a swan or a snake. But appearances can be deceiving. Beneath the skin lay a structure unlike any living animal. Instead of dozens of small vertebrae, Tanystropheus relied on only 13. Just 13 bones, each one stretched to extraordinary lengths. Evolution had not added more pieces. It had simply transformed the ones it already had. These elongated vertebrae solved one problem, but created another. A neck this long would have been incredibly vulnerable. Too much flexibility could lead to instability. Too much rigidity could make hunting impossible. Somehow, Tanystropheus existed in a delicate balance between strength and precision. Every ligament, every muscle, every joint had to work in remarkable harmony. Modern computer simulations reveal something astonishing. Contrary to what many once imagined, Tanystropheus could not coil its neck like a snake. Its movements were surprisingly limited. The neck functioned less like a flexible whip and more like a remarkably stable precision instrument. It was built not for dramatic motion, but for perfect timing. For more than 170 years, one question has overshadowed every discovery about Tanystropheus. Why would evolution invest so much energy into building a neck this extraordinary? A structure that was expensive to grow, difficult to protect, and seemingly impractical. In evolution, nothing survives without purpose. So what purpose did this impossible neck serve? Early scientists imagined that such a neck must have behaved like a fishing spear. Standing motionless in shallow water, Tanystropheus could have kept its heavy body hidden while extending only its head toward unsuspecting prey. Every extra centimeter of reach increased its chances of striking without being detected. It was an elegant idea, and for decades it seemed convincing. But as new fossils emerged, the mystery deepened. The skull of Tanystropheus told a different story. Sharp, interlocking teeth, forward-facing eyes, and jaw mechanics unlike those of modern shoreline hunters. Piece by piece, scientists realized they were not looking at a simple reptile with an unusually long neck. They were looking at a predator built for extraordinary precision. Today, many paleontologists believe the neck was not designed for speed, but for distance. It allowed Tanystropheus to keep its body safely away while its head entered the hunting zone alone. The predator remained almost invisible until the final fraction of a second. Sometimes, the greatest advantage in nature is not strength, but remaining unnoticed. As the morning sun climbs higher, the lagoon awakens. Small ray-finned fish gather in the warm shallows. Crustaceans sift through the sediment. Tiny marine reptiles patrol the edges of the reef. Hidden among reeds and limestone outcrops, Tanystropheus waits. It does not chase. It does not waste energy. Like many successful predators, it allows the world to come to it. Its long neck is not a whip. It is a bridge, a silent extension that allows the body to remain concealed while the head enters the hunting grounds. Every movement is measured. Every pause is deliberate. Even the smallest ripple could warn its prey. Success depends not on speed, but on patience. Then the moment arrives. In less than the blink of an eye, the head surges forward. Jaws snap shut with astonishing accuracy. Water erupts into a cloud of shimmering droplets. Within seconds, the lagoon is silent once more. For the fish, the attack seemed to come from nowhere. For Tanystropheus, it was a reward for perfect timing. Whether every hunt unfolded exactly this way, we may never know. Fossils preserve bones, not behavior. Yet the anatomy of Tanystropheus, combined with environment, offers compelling clues. In science, certainty is rare, but sometimes the evidence allows us to glimpse a world long vanished. And in that forgotten world, this extraordinary neck may have been one of evolution's most elegant solutions. For generations, paleontologists believed they understood Tanystropheus. The evidence seemed straightforward. A long neck, a shoreline environment, sharp teeth. The conclusion appeared obvious. It must have been a fisherman, patiently waiting in shallow water before striking unsuspecting prey. For decades, textbooks repeated the same story. Few questioned it. Then, new discoveries began rewriting the story. Exceptionally preserved skulls revealed details that earlier fossils had hidden. Powerful jaw muscles, forward-facing eyes, teeth designed to grip slippery prey. Suddenly, researchers realized they had been asking the wrong question. The mystery was no longer whether Tanystropheus hunted, but how. Science advances not by defending old ideas, but by testing them against new evidence. Every fossil is a message from another world. Sometimes it confirms what we think we know. Sometimes it forces us to begin again. Tanystropheus had become exactly that kind of mystery. The more scientists discovered, the stranger the animal became. The lagoons of the Middle Triassic were unlike any coastline on Earth today. Warm, shallow water stretched for kilometers, protected by limestone reefs and scattered islands. Visibility was often limited by suspended sediment, creating the perfect environment for predators that relied on stealth rather than speed. Within these waters lived an astonishing diversity of prey. Primitive ray-finned fish darted between reefs. Squid-like cephalopods drifted through open water. Small marine reptiles hunted along the shoreline. Every tide brought new opportunities and new dangers. For an animal with a neck as long as Tanystropheus, the shoreline offered a remarkable advantage. It could remain almost completely hidden while extending only its head into open water. To nearby prey, danger appeared distant, until it was suddenly within striking range. Yet another possibility continues to intrigue researchers. Perhaps Tanystropheus was not confined to the shoreline at all. Its dense bones and powerful tail suggest that it may have spent far more time in the water than once believed. If true, this remarkable reptile was neither purely terrestrial nor fully aquatic, but something in between. To understand how Tanystropheus lived, scientists had to become detectives. Every fossil, every fractured bone, every grain of ancient sediment became a clue. Unlike living animals, extinct creatures leave behind no eyewitnesses, only fragments patiently waiting to tell their story. The rocks surrounding Tanystropheus fossils reveal an environment shaped by shallow coastal waters, marine sediments, fossilized shells, and the remains of ocean-dwelling organisms consistently appear beside its skeletons. Together, these discoveries strongly suggest that water was not merely a place to visit. It was an essential part of its world. Chemical signatures preserved inside fossil bones provide another remarkable clue. Different environments leave different chemical fingerprints. By studying these microscopic traces, researchers can estimate whether an animal spent most of its life on land, in fresh water, or in the sea. Tanystropheus continues to surprise us. Much of the evidence points toward a life closely tied to marine habitats. Even so, important questions remain unanswered. Did Tanystropheus spend nearly all of its time in the water? Did it rest on shore between hunts? Or did different species adapt to different lifestyles? Science has not reached a final verdict. And perhaps that uncertainty is exactly what makes this reptile so unforgettable. Every new fossil has a potential to change the story once again. For millions of years, Tanystropheus flourished along the warm coastlines of the Triassic seas. Its unusual anatomy had become a remarkable success. Generation after generation, it survived by mastering a world perfectly suited to its strengths. But nature never stands still. Even the most successful designs exist only as long as their world remains the same. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the planet began to change once again. Sea levels shifted, coastlines retreated, volcanic activity intensified in distant regions, temperatures fluctuated, ecosystems that had remained stable for millions of years started to transform. The perfect hunting grounds of Tanystropheus were becoming increasingly unpredictable. At the same time, new competitors were appearing. Early crocodile relatives became more specialized. Marine reptiles diversified into forms faster, stronger, and better adapted to changing seas. Evolution never stops experimenting. Every new success creates new competition, and no species, no matter how extraordinary, remains at the top forever. No fossil records the final day of the last Tanystropheus. There was no single dramatic ending. Instead, its story faded gradually, generation by generation, as the world continued moving forward without it. Extinction is rarely an instant. More often, it is a slow farewell written across deep time. More than 200 million years have passed since the last Tanystropheus disappeared from Earth's coastlines. The lagoons it once hunted have vanished. The reefs have turned to stone. Entire oceans have opened and closed. Yet somehow, its story survived. Not in flesh, but in stone. Every fossil is more than a skeleton. It is a question preserved across deep time. A question waiting for someone curious enough to ask it. Why did evolution choose this path? Why this neck? Why this body? Each discovery answers one mystery, while uncovering another that is the true nature of science. Tanystropheus reminds us that evolution does not strive for perfection. It explores possibilities. Some designs endure for hundreds of millions of years. Others vanish when the world changes around them. Survival has never belonged to the strongest, only to those able to adapt. And sometimes, the most extraordinary creatures exist for only a single chapter in Earth's endless story. Perhaps that is why we continue searching. Not because we expect every mystery to be solved, but because every answer brings us closer to understanding our own place in the history of life. Hidden inside ancient rocks are not only the remains of forgotten creatures, but echoes of a journey that ultimately led to us. Somewhere beneath mountains, beneath forests, and beneath oceans, countless stories are still waiting to be discovered. Creatures that challenge the limits of evolution. Worlds unlike anything we know today. And as long as those stories remain hidden, our journey into Earth's forgotten past has only just begun. Thank you for joining us on the Lost Eon. But nature was far from finished with impossible designs. Millions of years before birds ruled the skies, another creature attempted something evolution had never tried before. It did not fly with wings on its arms, but with wings stretched between its legs. A reptile so strange that even today, scientists continue to debate how it moved through the ancient forests. Its name was Cherovipteryx. Until next time, keep exploring the lost worlds of Earth.